All right. So the end of the summer is near. So I've got some stuff I'd like to cover. I would really like to know if anyone has anything that they would like me to cover by the end of the call. We can go over it. And so a few things that I'd like to go over tonight is the tools that we use, the tools that I've been using for quite a while now, that what works and what doesn't work. There was some discussion I saw back and forth about someone wanting to open up a TLO account, and there's nothing wrong with it. Not a big fan of TLO ever since our incident that we had back in October of last year. This group was working on a tape that we had, and I recruited some of the fast track members to become document pullers for TLO, meaning that they could go in to the website and actually pull these documents, because we had 325 TLO reports to pull, which was the most in mass pull that I've ever done, that our company has ever done. And so I recruited 4 or 5 folks, and they have a feature right inside of the administration part of the software to say, would you like to have other people as add-ons? So I added in these 5 people. Off they went. We pulled all, I don't know, I think we ended up pulling maybe 230 reports or something like that. And everything was fine. The reports came out great. We looked at them. We got the information that we were looking for. And 2 weeks later, I got notice that they had banned me from the website for some reason. I thought they'd be happy that I pulled that many reports all at once, be kind of easy money for them. So the thing with TLO was everything was fine when I first signed up with them, maybe 5 going on 6 years ago now. And they were charging me $25 a month. I could handle that fee. And out of that $25 a month, you would actually draw down on that 25, or maybe it was $50 a month, and until you got to a zero balance, and then they would start billing you for the extra reports over $50 that I spent. So if you didn't use it one month, it would only cost you $50. But if you used it, you could draw down on that $50 to zero, and then your account went negative, and then you would be billed the difference on top of the $50. And that was fine. I was okay with if I had a month of not pulling any reports, it's no big deal. I would actually go and pull reports on my current notes just to draw down on that $50 and to see if there's any change or movement in my non-performing borrowers and my performers too. So that was fine. And then they doubled the fee, and they took away all home-based businesses rights to go ahead and pull full social security numbers for home-based businesses only. And that really upset me, because I had figured out how to do this business from home or from anywhere, really. And I was pretty proud of the fact that I could do this business from the porch of Puerto Rico, where Jimmy and I had actually closed a couple of note deals while we were sitting on the balcony overlooking the sunset in Puerto Rico. And now they were actually penalizing me for figuring out how to run this business from anywhere. So I called them up. I let them know how I felt about it. She said there's nothing I could do about it. It was a security issue, and you needed to have a commercial space to actually pull the reports. So that was one foot in the grave. And then this incident with me having too many people, I guess I'm assuming they wouldn't tell me exactly what I violated. So they kicked me out of that. So now we're full circle back to where I was 12 years ago when we were buying notes from Wells Fargo, and then Wells Fargo acquired Wachovia Notes. So with Wachovia would not supply us social security numbers. They thought that that was some type of a breach of security. So it was up to us to figure out how we were going to do our due diligence without social security numbers, which was a challenge. So I came across this company called Microbilt, Microbilt, and they gave you the option of you can pull a credit report as long as you had a full name and a full address. They would be able to pull an Experian or a TransUnion report, or a combo, TransUnion Experian. And so that was fine. I started pulling reports for there. We bought some Wachovia loans. Everything was fine. And then I realized that Microbilt had a very cool feature called People Search, where at the time it was a 25-cent report. Believe it or not, 25 cents, which was fantastic. On the People report, it would give you a full social security number for the borrower. So I started pulling this 25-cent report on every borrower that I wanted to buy the note on. And then I took that social and I went into my Credco account, which was a fantastic credit reporting company that I still use today. And I would pull my full Credco report, which is a tri-merge, which was Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. And that was the most comprehensive credit report that I could get my hands on. Like I said, I've been with them now 12 plus years as well. I think I bought that in 2008. Great product. First American, it's not called First American Credco now. It's just called Credco. And if anybody needs that information, they want to start their business, I'd be happy to give you that information offline. And so that was what we used for years. People search on Microbilt, and then we'd pull that social and put that into Credco and get a full comprehensive credit report. So now we're back to using Microbilt again, which is very interesting because that's where I started. And so now I'm back using that again. Fantastic process. So it's Microbilt, and great. It's a great system that we have down now. So does anybody have any questions about that? So, and feel free just to unmute yourself along the way here. So I believe, and maybe Julie can or Jay can actually add to this a little bit. With Microbilt, the way it used to be, and with Credco, the way it still is with Credco, is every couple of years they require an on-site inspection of my office. So I literally let a realtor come in and inspect the premises to make sure that there's 4 or 5 requirements. They want to make sure that my internet is password protected. That's an easy one. 64-bit encryption, I think. Everybody has that now. 10 years ago, it was a little bit different story, with dial-up modems and all the old stuff. So they wanted to make sure that my computer was password protected. My network was as well password protected. They wanted to make sure that I had a shredder in the office of a certain thinness of strip of paper. They wanted to make sure that I had a locked file cabinets for all of my notes and documents of any sort. So locked file cabinets, a shredder, password protected, and a good, not a closet lock or a bedroom door lock, but a good keyed entry lock. So I just took the lock off of my back door and put it onto my office door because I'm not going to have a keyed lock inside my house. But just temporarily, just for the inspection, I changed my doorknobs, and they were good to go. It's really as a realtor, you strike up a conversation with them, and they're getting $75 to come over because they're bored at the office, and they just pop over, and I thought that was pretty cool. We've always had the ability to hire a realtor wherever you are. So I could be in Puerto Rico, and let's say I needed someone to let somebody into my house and I have a hidden key somewhere. You could just call a realtor, and they're like this army of people that you have throughout the country that'll do just about anything for $75. No offense to realtors, but they are a very handy tool to have boots on the ground wherever you are. Whether you are investigating purchasing some notes. I had a note deal that I was looking at early on in this business, and I called this realtor. It's funny because I remember his name because it was the same name of my childhood best friend's name, and so I'm like, oh, look at that, what a coincidence. So I called up this guy, and I told him I had a house in Atlanta that I was interested in buying a note, and would he go over and take some pictures? So the guy calls me up. I didn't know it at the time, but he was in Marietta, Georgia, and he drove all the way into Atlanta to do this for $50 just to go over and snap some pictures. So this guy went there twice. He went there at 2:00 in the afternoon, and he went there at 2:00 in the morning. I'm like, dude, are you nuts? This is not what I asked for. He goes, I had nothing else to do. I thought it was kind of exciting. And the place was a different place at 2:00 in the morning than it was at 2:00 in the afternoon. But he called me up at the time that it was 2:00 in the afternoon. He says, so I'm in this crawl space, and it looks like there's no furnace and no air conditioning. I'm like, dude, what are you doing in a crawl space? He goes, well, you wanted pictures. This guy was like, he should have been a detective. He was a riot. And he says, I'm going to go back here tonight. I'm like, dude, you don't have to do that. So he took these like pictures of all these people that were all walking around. They look like a bunch of zombies walking around at 2:00 in the morning. And needless to say, I did not buy this note. The house was vacant. It was a brand new build, vacant fraud deal, and some kind of a fraud thing going on. This is, 2009, 2008, I think. And so you have at your fingertips this army of realtors that will do all kinds of great stuff for you. Because, they usually have time on their hands, and they have a vehicle, and they could use a few bucks. So we've been using realtors for years to get us, if we end up taking back a property, we'll call a realtor in that area, and we'll just keep calling until we find the right one. We took a property back a couple of years ago in Kentucky. That was Signal Ridge Road. Where the heck was it? Frankfort, Kentucky. And I called 4 or 5 realtors until I found this one old guy. He was 80 years old. And I said, so do you have any experience with investing? He goes, I just sold my 150 unit apartment complex that I've had for 40 years. I said, you're my guy. He gave me contractors. He gave me clean out guys. He gave me painting guys. There was a big sinkhole in the backyard. He got topsoil guy. uh, dumpster for $600. He showed me all the garbage that was in the house. I mean, this guy was fantastic. And so I gave him the listing. It was a subject to deal on a second mortgage that we with the borrower went into chapter 13, and I'm going through the chapter 13 documents, and in there he said that he was willing to forfeit his property. And so I called his attorney, the bankruptcy attorney, and I told him the situation. I said, listen, we'll take a deed in lieu, and we will make sure that this first mortgage gets satisfied and paid off, and you will not have a foreclosure on your hands. Everything will get paid. So the attorney at first was skeptical. He didn't think that we could do a deed in lieu from second position, when indeed you would only do a deed in lieu from second position and never from first position if there was a second position mortgage on the books. Because if you did do a deed in lieu with the first mortgage and took the property back, you have a junior lien, that junior lien now slides up into first position, and now you have to satisfy that second mortgage, whether it's $10,000 or $110,000. You're on the hook now because that second mortgage needs to be satisfied. So we were in second. There were no liens behind us, which is important whenever you're doing a deed in lieu. Whenever you're doing a deed in lieu or any type of a subject to deal, you want to make sure that there are no liens behind you in junior position to you, because you extinguish your lien when you take possession of a subject to property, because you're actually extinguishing your position as a lien holder because you're taking possession of the property. So we got this attorney to realize, I think we actually sent him some case law on this exact topic. And he said, okay, cool, let's do this. I did not have to give any cash for keys. The property was already vacant because the guy had moved in to another property that his wife owned. And they really were on the road to financial recovery. It was a good thing, and they were very nice people and very, very grateful for us that we did satisfy. The house was on the market in one day. This realtor was fantastic. Turns out the neighbor, I think the realtor knew that the neighbor was already going to buy the house. He didn't tell me. He just wanted to look like a genius, which he did. I think when he was doing the clean out, the neighbor came over and said, what's going on with this house? And that's when the realtor learned that I think he already negotiated the price. I mean, this guy was slick, man. I think he already negotiated the price with the neighbor. And then I gave him the listing and I said, so what do you think I should sell it for? He says 140. Owed 82 on the first. And I said, you're pretty confident with that 140? He says, I think I can get it sold pretty quick at 140. The guy was sharp, man. Calls me up and goes, I got it under contract. The guy next door bought it. How much? 140. This is too cool. Because it was a great deal. I had a $38,000 or $36,000 unpaid principal balance and arrears on that. The guy walked away from the house. And so we ended up with a huge win. On a note that I paid, I don't know, $10,000 or something. We ended up with 140 minus 80 is 60. Closing costs, realtor fees. I think we walked away with 52 grand on something that we should have walked away with 36 on a good day, getting paid in full. So these realtors are at your fingertips, at your disposal. If you've got any out of town, out of state things that need to get taken care of, take care of your realtors. And Don't forget to tip them. And so that's the realtor story. So another tool that I was just on the phone. So Julie or Jay, do you have the requirements that you guys went through to get that Microbilt in place, inspection wise?
Yeah, it was pretty. I was actually kind of surprised because I think it might have been, I went through it with TLO like a year or two before, and it was the same guy that came out because he remembered me. He goes, "Oh yeah, I remember you."
Huh.
And like they went through all that nonsense, and then he said, he said, a year ago, he said, "You're fine." And then like 2 weeks later, they came back and said they didn't like the address where it was located, and just that was pretty much it. But this time it was like, I mean, he was literally there for 10 minutes just snapping some pictures, and he didn't need to see the computer, didn't, I mean, just nothing.
Yep.
It just, that was it. And it was like boom, boom, boom. And Microbilt, Julie called him and said it was fine, and away we go.
Cool. So you don't have TLO capability?
No.
Good. Good. I'm not too crazy about TLO.
And just to kind of add in real quick, I know Microbilt was really good in helping me get set up. I had a rep that I worked with. She was really nice. She was really insightful to help us get set up and move things along quick too.
Cool. And is that the same rep that I was using?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I got to reinstate my account. But I don't know why we should have two of them, really, if we're going to kind of team up on this thing. So interesting. So it's pretty much the same laundry list, right, Jay? It's the shredder and the computer and the lock on the door.
Yeah, that was it.
And the password protection. And
which they didn't even look for it. They didn't even ask me to turn the computer, look at the computer or anything. It was just, but yeah, I mean, I just kind of assumed that was everything they were going to ask for.
Was he a realtor?
No, shoot. No, it's funny because we were talking about notes for about 15 minutes because he wanted to like hear about that a little bit, but I don't remember what he did. But I did have one thought. I do know one of the things I want to do is I want to get set up to report to the credit bureaus on
yeah.
And I just not sure through which entity, but I do want to get set up for the notes because that's a great thing to be able to do to kind of help rehab the borrower and make it easier for them to refi out.
Nice.
To fix their credit.
Especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
It's so funny talking about refis. So one of my two families, we just got a refi completed and closed, and we're at 3.25, which in my mind is just ridiculous. And so I was talking to Mary, my wife, and she just kept like blowing me off when it came to thinking about refining our other two family. And I'm like, how come you're not really interested? She says, well, we have a variable rate mortgage on that, and I'm locked in until December at 2.25. I'm like, what do you mean? She says, well, it's a variable, and it's been. So I compared the two statements, and the amount of principal that I was able to pay down on this second property, the one that she's reluctant to refi. I'm like, no wonder you don't want to refinance. She goes, no, we got a great rate. Look at all the principal we're paying on it. We're paying down $950 a month principal on a payment that we're knocking this thing out. And plus she pays extra, which I tell her not to because we got such a great interest rate, but she can't help it. It's just her upbringing is to just get rid of bills. And I don't care. I don't care how cheap the money is. She just can't help it. I just got to throw an extra $500 a month onto the mortgage payment. It's just ingrained in her brain. No matter what the interest rate is, it's still a payment that we can knock out. So I think we owe like, I don't know, 180,000 on a $460,000 house. And so everybody told us, don't get a variable, don't get a variable. And the variable turned out to be better than the fixed, which I don't know. We live in some strange times, folks. Some very interesting times. So that's my little refi story. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about is Money Lender Professional. Now, with all of these things that I'm talking about, I do not get a commission for recommending these things. These are all tools that I use. I haven't figured out, like Josh from Money Lender, he will not do an affiliate program. I've probably sold through him. I think he said that I had like 55 direct purchases. He said that I have purchased like 55 Money Lender Professional softwares. I'm like, so is there anybody out there? He goes, by far, you are the biggest purchaser of Money Lender Professional. Because what I used to do, I'd get a lot of computer challenged note investor students. Let's just put it that way. And I was thinking about it one day, and I said, you know what? Because I was doing one-on-one mentorship, and so let's say it was a Saturday morning, and I would get on a Zoom call. It wasn't Zoom back then; it was more like a Citrix product. Go to meeting, and I would get on the computer, and I'm like, well, let me see your screen. Let's get this thing set up, whatever I was doing. And all these pop-ups started popping up, like all these, crazy sites, like not porn stuff, but, their computer was compromised. Let's just put it that way. And so one day I said, that's it. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sell this education program. All of the modules are going to be preloaded onto a computer. I will buy the computer first, load up 4 or 5 of these laptops with all of the software that the student should have: Microsoft Word, Money Lender Professional, Adobe Acrobat, all of the tools that I use and believe in, like Evernote and an HP emulator calculator, and load this thing up, load up 4 or 5 of these things at once. And then as a new student enrolls, I would ship that laptop out to them with all the tools. And I said, please just use this laptop for the note business. That worked out fantastic, because now they took out this pristine, unvirus computer that was strictly for the note business. And it worked out well, because it was so frustrating for people to realize that this business is 100% or 90% computer and 10% phone, and no other tools needed other than capital. Computer is everything. So that worked out really well. I may even implement that again for people that want it, that are computer challenged. And so Josh went back from Money Lender, went back through his records, and he looked at all of the laptops that I had purchased and loaded up with Money Lender. He goes, you are by far my largest user. So that's why when I call, he picks up the phone. But Money Lender Professional, he's on version, let me take a look here. Money Lender Professional 3, Money Lender 3. I started with him at like 1.8 or 2, and he came up with a really good version now. So anyway, Moneylender Professional is what I use to track the monthly payments that my borrowers make, either to me or to my servicing company or companies. I have a couple of companies, servicing companies. I I give my servicing company the current status of their monthly payments, meaning I bought an unpaid principal balance of $38,250, and their next payment due date was March of 2013. So I give my servicer that balance, $38,250, and the date of the next payment due date, and I let them work out the arrears. And then I go to Moneylender Professional. I plug in those numbers, $38,250, March 2013, and I get on the phone or email with the servicing company. They came up with this, and I came up with that. How come our two numbers are different? They should not be different. Well, we changed the term on the loan to a 15-year loan from a 30. I'm like, who told you to do that? Well, that way the monthly payment is bigger. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to do that. They couldn't afford this payment. Why would I make them a larger payment? Oh, well, that's the way I was taught to do it. They're so it's crazy working with vendors in general. It really is trying at times, to say it pleasantly. It's like, well, please get your boss on the phone. And so, the guy, the boss, he's like, I don't know why. I said, just put the thing to a 30-year loan, the way the note was written. And let's see if we can't come close with our numbers. And so that's why I run in parallel with my servicing company, because I'm a hands-on kind of guy. And I want you folks to be hands-on kind of folks too, where you know what the heck is going on. It may seem a little cumbersome at first, but believe me, you want to have as much control as possible over everything. I don't care if it's control over building a website, like control over your servicing company, control over your attorneys, control over Microbilt and Credco and Moneylender Professional. I mean, the guy at Moneylender Professional is a friend of mine because I made him a lot of money and I've been very nice to him. And I need this guy. He's my support team for this software, which is the most important software that I run because it is my life. It is my lifeblood. It's my accounting software, crying out loud. It's for all of my notes. And I need to have accurate numbers that come out, and I need this guy to be there to help me when I get into a glitch with, not a glitch with the software, but a glitch with me using the software. So that's Moneylender Professional. It's moneylenderprofessional.com. If you are interested in getting that software, even if you're only working a couple of notes, I would advise you to get it, use it, and be familiar with it, because you may think, well, I only got 4 or 5 notes or 2 notes or whatever. But 6 months from now, you got 13 notes. Now you're in a learning curve to figure out how to use it. And now you're scrambling. So that's a great software. I have not found anything better. I was using another software called Notesmith. I have no problem putting this on a recording. I had a horrible experience with Notesmith, and it was not due to my error. And so that's the software that I was told to use, because there really was no other non-mortgage servicing software out there for the private investor that I could find. Some people use spreadsheets. I really like the way Moneylender Professional automatically does things for me. And there's no extra fee at the end of the year when you need to create these 1098s to go out to the borrowers. There, it just is so seamless and functional. I'm not going to spend the time on these calls to go ahead and show you the bells and whistles of how these all these tools work, Microbilt and Credco. If anybody is interested and actually goes out and gets a hold of these things, I can make as many recordings as needed to make sure that you can get these things functional and up to speed in your business. I'm just here to let you know that these tools are available, and you should start playing around with them if you plan on being in this business. So the next thing is I use a marketing software called Realty Motor. I love Realty Motor because it forces me to write some of the things that I probably, how should I put this now? I believe that everyone has a story to tell. Everyone has an interesting story to tell. I believe that there's a book or two inside of every person's life. And without getting into detail, I think that it's kind of like memoirs. I don't really know what a memoir is other than kind of like a notes about life experience. That's kind of my definition of it. And as we go through life in stages, things get better and better and better, hopefully. And along the way, I think we should be journaling, whether you're taking notes in a diary or in some type of fashion. I like to use it when I come up with a thought in this thing called Realty Motor, where I've got 1,100 contacts in there, getting close to 1,100 contacts, that a thought will come across, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put this out to the group. Now, there's a lot of them that I write that I don't actually send out, but I have them that I can just noodle over. Some of them are pretty wacky. And so I don't send them out, but it feels just good to type them out. So Realty Motor is actually a MailChimp type of, what would you call it? A CRM. I'm assuming some type of a email blaster. You know, you can use it for good or evil, spamming people and marketing things. So we're going to a note event in November down in Texas. And if anybody wants to go, it's called Note Expo. I'd love to see you all down there. It's, I think it's the best event out there as far as quality of people that, that show up, that present, that are marketing, that have product, that have things that they're selling, the booths that are, you know, the booths that you walk around and look at their products. Servicing companies are going to be there. Different network groups are going to be there. There's one guy that I enjoy following closely. His name is David Phelps. He runs, this is a fantastic story. I mean, this guy was a dentist and he started buying real estate while he was in college. He convinced his father while he was in med school to buy the building that him and his buddies could rent. And that was how he started. And his real estate empire grew while his practice remained steady. And then one day he was able to make the transition out of dentistry, out of his practice, and into a full-time real estate thing. And along the way, he met a lot of very interesting people. By going to these events, he realized that he could get these dentists that would join his network to get them to start thinking about really, truly passive income. Just to get them to start thinking that, hey, you know what? I don't have to hunch over some person's smelly mouth, drilling out rotten cavities for the rest of my life. There is other ways to make money. And so he would bring in, so he created this network called Freedom Founders. You look him up, find him on YouTube, study his material, listen to his stuff. He's got a good way of putting things. And so he realized that most of his dentist friends, it's so funny, it's so ironic. Every story that he tells, I just pictured my dentist when we were taking the kids to the dentist as a kid and going ourselves. The dentist around the corner from our house, he drove a different car every day. He had a Porsche Cayenne. He had an antique, I think he had a Chevelle. He had 5 different cars for 5 days of the week that he worked. And he drove a different car every day. That was his thrill. And so these dentists are really good at dentistry. They're really good at running a practice, but they're horrible at finances. They make $400,000 a year and they spend $450 for the most part, most of them. They know how to generate income, but the only way that they can make more money is by taking on more clients or learning new procedures that the guy down the street doesn't know, like whatever, screws or implants or whatever they do. So this guy, David Phelps, realized that there was a need for these people that were in practice to have another source of income to start working on. And he says he thinks that he can get a dentist to get free in 3 to 5 years using his techniques. Now, he only works with high income earners because it's hard to take a guy who's making 40 grand a year and get him to turn into a millionaire. But when you're working with someone who's already bringing in $450 a year in taxable income, to start burying some of that money into real estate, into assets that they can depreciate and take advantage of all the different things that we talk about on these calls, buying non-performing paper, opening self-directed 401ks, opening Roth IRAs, all of the good stuff that we study. He figured this out long ago, that he could take these high income earners, and turn their lives around and get them to start thinking about creating a solid retirement IRA with these types of assets. And so he's got some great material out there. I think everyone on this call should pay attention to what he's doing. I think he makes 7 figures just owning the mastermind group. He calls it a mastermind, I believe. Just by the dues alone that these dentists pay, just for the fees alone. And then he would vet out an organization like us, where we are working in the non-performing note space and we're raising capital to go out and buy more notes. He would vet out a company like us. We would go down to Texas and speak at his event and he would get a percentage of whatever capital was raised from these dentists on investment strategies. And so our investment strategy would be to buy non-performing notes and get them performing again, sell those performing notes out, and pocket and distribute the the interest back to the investors. Very great model. And so, like I said, David Phelps gets a percentage of that capital that he raises for these types of investments. It's brilliant. I mean, he's hitting on all cylinders because, like I said, he's only dealing with high income earners, which, is smart. I would love to help somebody who's making $30,000 a year become wealthy in the note space. But it's a lot easier to talk to somebody who's making $400 a year to get them to make $1 million a year. It's a lot easier. It's just like dealing with low income borrowers. It's a lot easier. And I learned this long ago from a good friend of mine who actually just fell very ill. That he said it was a lot easier for him to get someone who did qualify to purchase a $2 million home, who went non-performing on his $350,000 second mortgage. It's a lot easier to get that person to come up and raise capital for that $100,000 downstroke and start making monthly payments again than it is for somebody who bought a $50,000 home and they've got a $30,000 first mortgage and they're not making payments. Because he says the person who bought the $2 or $3 million home, now I'm going back 10 years, $3 million home in California is not that much anymore, but he was buying up my California loans and either getting these things reperforming or getting a nice downstroke to get them reperforming, like 80 or 100,000 down on a note that he paid 25 for. And then they start making $600 or $800, $900 a month monthly payments on these non-performing large seconds. He says that these people have the means. They once qualified for $2 or $3 million worth of debt. They went bad, just like everybody had problems in 2009 and 10 with the economy. But these people have resources. They have other friends. They're probably professionals, doctors, lawyers, accountants. They've got friends that have dough, and they may have to borrow that, put themselves in hock with them. But at least these are people of means that that he's willing and able to work with. So I thought that was really cool. And so that's David Phelps' model of working with individuals that have already made some really good money. They just are spending it badly. You go down to the Porsche dealer and you're looking at a Porsche for $140,000, and the guy's got the 140 in his pocket and in a check. And the dealer goes, "Why in the world would you spend that money? Why don't you invest that money? And here's financing it at 6% or whatever." I don't even know what they get for a Porsche, but they end up walking out with the Porsche and a new loan, and they got the 140 grand in their pocket. And that ends up getting spent somewhere, just not on that Porsche. And it probably doesn't go to an investment because they are not exposed to investments. And so David Phelps found this model of exposing these dentists to investments that he is not creating, but he is vetting out other individuals like myself and our companies that do have a track record. They do have experience, and they have, some cases, 14 years worth of experience in an investment class So it's my recommend that what I'm doing here is I'm recommending that you be observant of this guy and see if you can't figure out how to model what he's doing. Uh, I'm a big fan of starting companies. I love starting new startups, starting masterminds, starting groups, starting this call, this fast track group. Uh, I love the thought of all that and watching and paying attention to how other people are doing things and what they do and how they're doing it. I believe that he lacks in a lot of marketing skills. If you go to his YouTube channel, it's very small, although he posts a lot of videos. He gets very few views. I think with a little bit of guidance, because he's got a target audience, which makes life a lot easier. When you're shooting with a shotgun, you don't know what you're going to get. But with him, he's only talking to medical professionals. So that target audience, and you could do the same thing. There's no reason why I talk to a lot of dentists because I just mentioned David Phelps, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy." Well, you know, it's very. I don't have to be a dentist to talk to a dentist. Um, I really don't have to be a anesthesiologist to talk to anesthesiologists. They make a lot of money. They pay a lot of insurance, but they make a lot of money. Um, the way I look at this marketing thing, because I am getting into the idea of preparing for this next new wave of notes by raising capital to finally take advantage of using someone else's capital instead of my own, because I feel confident enough now that I can do it. And so I'm going to be choosing an audience and marketing to it specifically. That's why I keep coming back to this guy, David Phelps, because he picked an audience that he knows and understands. He just happened to be a dentist. So he basically found that audience by accident. But what I'm going to do is find my audience on purpose. I do not have to be a dentist to talk to dentists or an anesthesiologist, or who is it that I'm going to target who makes a lot of money and who doesn't know what to do with it investment wise. And it's very easy to explain the note business when someone is getting a 2% return on their money in a CD account. What did somebody call it? A certificate of disappointment, because they are just not aware and are not exposed to any other type of investment class out there. You know, I hear people, you know, I belong to some networks and they're like, what's your biggest challenge? My biggest challenge, people would answer, is finding capital. My God, there's so much money out there. And it really is hungry money. They call it lazy money. But I look at, like I said, I really pay attention to this stuff. I look at self-directed IRA custodians. You know, I can name a few. You got equity trust and specialized trust, and doesn't even matter. A bunch of these custodians. I think they're up to like 52 or 53 self-directed IRA custodians, and they are all focused on going to RIA meetings and real estate meetings because they think that that is their target audience, and it is so not their target audience. They are so missing the boat, in my opinion, because they go to a real estate meeting. Let's say they go to this Note Expo that we're going to go to. There's going to be 4 or 5 self-directed custodians at this event. I promise you. They're all competing for your business. There's only 400 people going to this event. I don't even know. Maybe because of COVID, there might only be 200 or 300. I don't know. But Jimmy, my son and I, a couple of years ago, we went to Manhattan to an affiliate marketing event just to expose ourselves to this whole other new industry. There was 9,000 attendees, and there was not one self-directed custodian there. There was 9,000 attendees, and all of the vendors, the people with a booth, were all about different affiliate marketing product. And not one of them was there. Now, affiliate marketers, some of them make millions of dollars. Some of them make millions of dollars a month. And affiliate marketing, if you're not familiar with it, is some type of internet marketing where you're helping someone sell a lot more of their product. Like I have an Amazon affiliate where I can promote this camera that happens to be a phone. I could promote that, and every person that uses my link, I would get a 3% commission on that $1,000 phone. So I can promote that phone, tell everybody, hey, my camera has a phone attached to it. It is really a camera with a phone. Camera comes first on this device that I have. And I could promote the heck out of it and make a commission. So all these people are there promoting their affiliate material, but no one is there promoting what these affiliates that are making money, what they should be doing with their money. I found that a huge opportunity. I mean, so let's say I'm there raising, I go to a table and I pay 10 grand at this affiliate summit in Manhattan. If they ever have another one again, Manhattan's pretty crazy with their laws. But let's say, we spend 10 or 15 grand and get a table with all of the banners behind us and get all these youngsters that are into affiliate marketing to say, listen, what do you do right now with the money that you make? How are you saving it? How are you investing in it? They couldn't even tell you, because I can promise you they're too busy worrying about Google AdSense and all the things that affiliate marketers worry about than they are about the return that they're getting on their capital. And so I'm always looking for these outliers of opportunity. It would cost me $5,000 to get a custodian, self-directed custodian. It would cost me $5,000 or $6,000 to get a table at Eddie Speed's Note Expo in November. At the affiliate summit, I think it would cost me $25,000 to get a table where I could get maybe a 12-foot table and get 3 people or 4 people behind that table to promote raising capital at that event. Well, look at the exposure difference, 400 compared to 9,000. I look at the audience that is going to Note Expo. A lot of those people are still trying to figure out how to make money. I go to affiliate marketing thing. Yeah, a lot of people there are looking and figuring out how to make money in affiliate marketing, but there are some really successful people walking around that event. Jimmy and I actually ran into a guy, and he's a YouTube star. And I'm like, oh my God, there's my idol. I felt like I was like a little kid seeing the Beatles because he is an affiliate rock star. But that guy, he knows how to make millions a year in affiliate marketing. So my point is, pay attention to your audience and notice what people do. So why would 5 custodians show up at an Eddie Speed event where 50%, I would have to say maybe 40% of the people that are going to be at this event already have a self-directed IRA? And it's a pain in the ass to change custodians once you're in, because all of your assets that are titled to that custodian, houses, notes, they all need a transfer document to take that item out. Like the notes that I own in my IRA would require a new assignment. And believe me, I did it. I did this in 2017. I got out of one and into another because the old one would not allow me to perform certain investments, like creating a trust that my IRA could invest in. So I had to switch custodians, which means I had to switch out all the assets that were in there. I didn't have a whole heck of a lot, but it was still very time consuming. So my point is, pay attention to the audience. Everybody on this call should be thinking about who's my audience. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't have an audience, don't have the thought of having an audience. What do I need an audience for? I just need some notes. Well, if you need some notes, who's your audience? People that sell notes. If you need capital, who's your audience? People that have capital. If you need partners, who do you want to talk to? You want to talk to people that already know about this business or whatever business it is you're trying to partner with. That's your audience. Those are the people that you need to get in contact with. Everybody on this call should have an audience that they need to talk to. If you're David Phelps, who's his audience? They have put millions and millions of dollars into this guy's pocket for years and years now, millions and tens of millions of dollars just to be a part of that group. And he doesn't even have an investment firm. He doesn't have a fund. He doesn't have to have a fund because he's got people like us that do have funds. I mean, it's so easy. It's so freaking easy to make money because of the knowledge that you all have already by being on this call. It's just being observant of the people that are making money. How are they making it? Where's that money coming from? It always, always, always comes down to how many people are you helping? And if you help people, the money will come. It's the helping of people comes first, and then the money will come. The tools that I just listed here, especially Realty Motor, is such an insignificant price compared to, so I reach 1,100 people in a newsletter that I create. Like this is the paper source. I get the paper source every month. This thing is it comes in the mail. It's crazy. It actually comes in an envelope. What is the postage? The postage on this thing is $1.20. So he pays $1.20 to deliver an 8-page paper source magazine every month. It's, I don't know. The guy's been around forever. So I guess he really hasn't gotten out of the, it's called paper source. So I guess he felt he would feel funny if he didn't actually send you a paper every month. But the reach that I have, or the reach that you all could have with your CRM, your contact software, like Realty Motor, like MailChimp, is far reaching. So if I could get, let's say 50% of the email addresses, or 30%, or even 10% of the 400 people that are at this Texas event in November. So 10% would be 40 people. If I could get 40 new contacts while I'm down there, whether I grab their business card or actually have a good conversation with them and get them to give me take my cell phone number into their phone and just make a note that, hey, I met this person at Paper Source. I go into my contact software and create a new list of potential buyers of whatever it is I'm selling. What am I selling? Well, I may be selling the fact that I'm raising capital for this new fund that we're starting. Okay, so that's a sale. That's a sale. So what do I do first? If I plan on selling them the opportunity, I want to start providing them with good, clean, free content so that we can build a relationship of, hey, this guy puts out a lot of good stuff. He's talking about case study on deals that he's done. He's talking about where this industry is and where it's going and what the potential is for him, for that person, that may be useful information. So I want to provide content, and then just like the book, right jab, right, yeah. So it's jab, right hook. That was a book that I read a long time ago, where you're giving content, and then sell them something. Hey, come and join my course. Check us out. Here's the link. It's very inexpensive compared to the value that you're going to get, compared to the potential income that you can generate. That's the audience. And you can have several audiences. Like the people that are currently in my Realty Motor contact list are primarily people that I've targeted to become potential students for the note business. But they are also note buyers. And now the audience that I'm looking for are people that fit the David Phelps model. They are wealthy individuals that are looking for other asset classes to get into, alternative investing, which may be a private placement fund that invests in non-performing mortgages. So what do I have to do? I have to show them other investment vehicles that are just as interesting. And I may lose some of those people to that vehicle, but I'm essentially doing what David Phelps is doing, which is introducing people to other investment classes that are pretty cool. Everybody on this call should figure out who their audience is. Who do you want to talk to? Who are you trying to get in touch with? And so if anybody has any comments, I'd like to break out into a breakout rooms tonight and let you guys do a little bit of this, talk about this topic of who your audience is and how you could or should be reaching out to them. There's no wrong answer. You know, like this guy, David Phelps, he likes using YouTube. I don't know how many videos he's got. Doesn't get a whole lot of traction. Like I said, his numbers are very low because I think he could use a couple of tips on how to get the word out. The video quality is good. The audio is good. The content is good, but his reach is low. So anyway, I would love to go into breakout rooms tonight and have you guys discuss this topic. Hopefully you can't hear the car horn that's going on. And talk a little bit about who your audience is. Who are you trying to reach? Are you looking for money? Are you looking for notes? Are you looking for partners? Are you looking for what is it that you're actually attempting? Are you looking for bank managers, distressed asset managers at LinkedIn? Are you using LinkedIn? What's your profile look like? Let's go into breakout rooms tonight with this thought in mind. And another thing, so about 4 or 5 months, I don't know, whatever it was ago, Sachin came up with the idea of doing a presentation to my audience and to his audience as well. He put this out. So I want to offer this up again. If there's anybody that is hearing this recording that would like to market to the audience on whatever topic it is, I can help you choose a topic. It can be on something that you know little about. You can actually interview me if you want to. You can interview, if you know somebody out there that you've seen speak at an event, I'll try to get in touch with that person and have them on. I mean, the sky is the limit. It really is your I don't know what is the limit. The only limit there is us. You know, I'm the biggest limiting factor in my life. You are the biggest limiting factor in your life, and there's no one. We're not in a communist country here where people are censoring us. We live in a great country where we are not censored, where we have free reign over our existence. I can go out and do a webinar tomorrow night and have 2 people on the thing or 200,000 people on the thing. That is entirely up to me and my marketing skills and my determination to actually get to a point of 200,000. So with Sachin, what we did, he wanted to do a 5-part. We did it in 5 parts because we thought we could build some momentum with getting from a larger crowd to a larger crowd to a larger crowd. And now we've accumulated 130 names. I actually had to up my Zoom account subscription to handle the number of people that got onto this series of how to invest, how to do due diligence on commercial notes. So if anybody has any ideas that they would like to present, I would love to show you how this is done. Sachin, if you want to do it again, of course, you're welcome to. We're going into September now. I always feel as though September is kind of like almost like a new year, this new fresh season of education. We kind of turn ourselves away from doing outdoor, at least for us in New Jersey. We turn ourselves away from doing outdoor activities and we go indoors, and now we can really start working on the things that that can build our business. Like I think about this is a great time for me to go live with the new website, Truly Passive. And that's for all of you to enjoy as the weeks and months unfold going into this new period of time. You're going to see a lot of activity with this new website. We're getting away from the Thinkific education platform. My kids and I have done a lot of work to get this thing up and running. We think it's better than Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook, and it's going to be cool. So does anybody have anything that they would like to ask or add before we go into the breakout rooms?
Thank you, Mike. I would love to do it, but I'm just, don't have any more topics to talk about, and just my plate is busy, but I can always help. I mean, that's one. And second, I hope you guys living on the East Coast are all well because of the storm that came up yesterday. So all's well with you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, no, everything is fine. We didn't even know anything happened until I was in the sandwich place today getting something, and they had the TV on. They're talking about tornadoes. I'm like, where? And they're like, Mullica Hill. Oh my God, I know where that is. We've got a relative that used to live there. I didn't know anything about it. We don't we don't watch any news. That was, just happened to be on at this sandwich place I was at. Pretty interesting, but I appreciate that. Everybody is fine. But that was a real freak thing. I think we've had a couple of tornadoes this year in New Jersey. It's funny. I spent 3 years in Oklahoma, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we had the sirens go off a few times, and that was scary. So yeah, again, Sachin, thanks. Now you'd be surprised. You have a lot more topics than you think. with your skills. Just think hard about it. Think about, it doesn't have to be anything super. I mean, you did a very good job, very in-depth 5-part series on your commercial note thing. Everybody loved it. We actually have those recordings ready to go to actually, it's really entirely up to you, Sachin, what you want to do with those recordings. Jimmy has edited them. Julie has uploaded them to a private area on the Truly Passive website. You know, you do the work once and that material is there. It's done forever. That's the beauty of doing recordings, of doing YouTube stuff. I've seen somebody doing a affiliate marketing item. It was actually how I found Evernote. I look at my desk, it's still a mess with papers. And I said, doggone it, one time 10 years ago, I got on YouTube and I typed in paperless office. And here's this guy who's using a scanner. He takes a receipt, right? He's got his, receipt. He puts it in the scanner. It scans both sides of the receipt and it automatically goes into Evernote. So that is probably the most profound YouTube video I ever watched, because I learned that day about affiliate marketing, that he was promoting that scanner and he was promoting Evernote. And this is when I realized that affiliate marketing is real, because down below the video, click here to open up the more, to get more information about this video. There was his Amazon link to buy the scanner for $400. And there was his affiliate link to sell the Evernote software. And so I clicked on the Evernote software. He got paid his affiliate money, whatever it was, $10. And I learned how to use Evernote for my note business, because I was watching him. I'm like, oh my God, that looks like I could use that for all of my notes, to board my notes and have all my documents in one place. I can have it on my phone. I can have it on my partner's phone and my investors. I don't have to share files or anything. They can just go right in. I can share that notebook with each investor that has it. I'm like, this is perfect. So it was a twofold day for me, because this video took 20 minutes for him to make. It literally took him 20 minutes to make and maybe 20 minutes to edit. Uploaded it into YouTube, got 150,000 views. How many of those people did what I did and clicked on one of those 2 affiliate links? It took him 40 minutes. That video is still up on YouTube. It's 10 years old now. I don't know how many views it's had and how many people clicked on that affiliate link. And the guy is making money. He probably made money on that video today. It took him 45 minutes to make that video. You make it, it's done. Sachin, you did 5 videos. It's done. If you sold it for $10, who knows how many people would buy that over time. You do the recording once and it's done. I'm telling you, folks, this marketing thing is cool. And, I look at the training videos that I made. Yeah, it was a lot of work when I did the training material for Fast Track. But I did it once. I used to repeat and repeat. I'd talk to somebody. I'd get off the phone with one person. I just told them all the things that I knew about the note business. Then 15 minutes later, I'm on the phone and I'm doing it again, telling them all the things I know about the note business. I'm like, oh God, I got to get this recorded. I just go to my YouTube channel and watch video 13. And it'll tell you everything I know about the note business. use the power of these recordings to use the power of Zoom conferences, use the power of marketing. It's tremendous, folks. Figure out who your audience is and go after them. So, all right. Anything else before we jump into these rooms? Okay, cool. If you're not into getting into the Zoom rooms, it's absolutely no offense taken. If you got something else to do, I know it's getting late. We've been on for almost an hour and a half already here. I figure we jump into the Zoom rooms. If you are in these rooms and you got to go, just say goodbye. I got to go, folks, and good night. There's no hard feelings. Do not ever feel obligated that you have to be on these things. I appreciate you all being on this call tonight, and enjoy yourselves.